Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We are here to talk about optimizing your legal workflow with practical AI tools. Before we get started, we want to get started pretty quickly with respect for everyone's time. One of our speakers is coming fresh off of another speaking engagement and has another one to head to after this. So we're just gonna jump right in. If you want to click to the next slide, Ian, we've got Ian running the show from behind the scenes. And just so you know, all questions are welcome. You can type your questions into the Q&A box at any time. We'll answer some as we go and some at the end. StreamYard's pretty interactive, so you can pop in comments. We can pop those up on the screen so everyone can see your reactions. And everyone will know which questions you asked as well. We're recording the webinar, so you'll receive the recording and the slide deck in the next 24 hours. If you happen to need to jump off early, you want to share this with a colleague, you'll have access to do that. And if you stay to the end, we'll have a special offer, both Visalaw and eimmigration, for anyone who is new to either of our solutions. And without further ado, I will introduce our speakers. Joining us is Josh Waddell. He is the CEO and co-founder of Visalaw.ai. If you've not met Josh at an AILA conference, you'll have an opportunity to learn a bit from him today about how Visalaw is really helping to transform workflows for legal immigration professionals. And I'm sure everyone knows Greg Siskind. Greg is the co-founder of Visalaw.ai and is joining us really to share his perspective as a legal expert. He's was recently dubbed, my favorite term that I have heard is the godfather of legal immigration technology. He'll be sharing from his perspective. And then from the eimmigration team, we have Jenny Herrera. Jenny is one of our product engineers, and she really is responsible for kind of being that bridge between the front line of our customers and our development team, and making sure that we're really creating tools that are going to help immigration law professionals get their jobs done faster and easier. And Joel Yedidian is eimmigration's general manager, and Joel is really maniacally focused on delivering the best solution possible to help immigration law professionals get their jobs done as easy as possible. We know y'all have a tough challenge on your plates. So with that said, I'm going to drop off backstage and hand it over to Josh.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Trinity. Yeah, we're really excited to talk today. Again, obviously, if you guys have been following eimmigration and Visalaw.ai, we've been on this path for almost a year, moving towards this case management integration between our drafting solution at Visalaw.ai, combining it with Serenade's powerful, eimmigration's powerful case management solution. This slide is really meant to, I guess, encompass what we're here to solve. With the little icons, I think what we're trying to get at is this is a time savings problem we're trying to solve. If you step back a little bit, though, I mean, efficiency I think is really meaningful, right? By and large, most immigration firms are flat fee structured, at least for some of the primary practice areas, family business. Even some of the humanitarian areas are flat fee structured, historically speaking, as an industry. So efficiency matters. Efficiency is really important. I would say the way I've come to describe the incorporation of AI into the legal your legal workflow, your sort of day-to-day operations is I call it the impossible equation for an immigration lawyer in 2025. Right, and efficiency is like one variable in the equation, but holistically, I think that the problem we're really trying to solve is how to give lawyers not just your time back, but your ability to see margins in your practice, your ability to have, again, I don't know if normalcy can even be considered in that equation anymore in current times, but some semblance of a balance, right? So our hope is that this technology can essentially what we say is elevate the profession. That's one of our values at Visalaw.ai, to be able to just sort of like elevate the work you're already doing. We're not trying to create something outside of your current workflow. We're actually just trying to enhance the things that you're already doing. So if I were going to, again, kind of talk about what we're trying to solve, it's that impossible equation, right? hopefully now possible, with some of this technology. I don't know if anybody had anything else to add on that, but I hope that's encompassing, what we're trying to do here. And so, Greg, you and I can kind of work through this if you want to. This slide really is just kind of walking through some of the components, right? We don't have to talk about each one of these because every firm is going to have their own steps, their own systems. But this is just kind of thinking through how what we're doing in drafts is sort of can be inserted into the existing workflow, right? Like your existing case from consult to approval, right? Hopefully. So, these would be, very essential key components. There are things that were obviously, you could get more particular and more specific. So yeah, Greg, I don't know if you had any thoughts. So like basically.
Yeah, I mean, before the AI company, I mean, a lot of this subject has still been, basically for 30 some odd years that I've been doing immigration law, we've been thinking about this. So, when in 2018, when Ari Sauer and I started working on the AILA cookbook, the practice and procedures manual, I think is the formal name for it. What we were trying to do is sort of like break down cases for the most common types of cases down to all its raw components. So we would start out with just, an understanding of a law on there, and that's what we would do with an initial article. But then we would move into something that was sort of like a overview of step by step of the things that are going to have to happen in the case and whose role it was. And then we got into the checklists and the questionnaire forms and the process steps and all the things that and the templates and all the components that people who've seen that book know that are in there and that are quite useful. That's been one thing on my mind. The other thing, case management has been on my mind for a while, and some of the folks that are probably watching today have participated in the case management survey. Josh has helped on that as well. And the reason why I'm mentioning both of those here is, it's sort of like they're both sides to the, two sides to the same coin, where, from a substantive point of view, you really have to have good systems to be able to manage your cases. And then you need technology to partner with that substantive knowledge and that you're having on there. And that is just there's a lot of steps to it, and there's a lot of hours that go into one of these cases on there. Even with the with the best systems and the best materials, there's still all of that. So the next step that is what we're here to be talking about today is ways to use new tech to be able to shave hours off of the of this workflow without dipping into your quality. And that's been sort of, for all of our, for those who've been around a while, that's always sort of been the magic solution that we've been out there looking for. But really, I think we've started to see a lot of this in the last 2 or 3 years, to where it's not just sort of shaving a little time here or there, but making significant reductions the amount of time without hitting your quality. So I'll end with that, Josh.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I mean, I guess to your point, it's like a lot of this hasn't really substantively changed from like a process standpoint, right? Where we're talking about a lot of the same things we've been talking about. We're just incorporating, or I guess you could say infusing some new capability, new technology into them. I think, hey, Ian, can you jump us over to the next one? Yeah, so obviously with the manual processes that have existed internally in our firms, I've been in operations in a law firm for, 10 years or so now. And, you have silos, you have, data, data that's not connected to the other system that you really needed to connect to. You have challenges with the client experience, with, the portal, with reporting, just being able to utilize all this information that either already exists in your case management system or something, or data that's existing somewhere else that you wish was in your case management system, and just ways to streamline. Again, I don't like talking about this like there is a silver bullet or like just like some magical answer that works for everyone. I think every firm sort of has to sit down and think strategically about your team, what your team member, how your company is structured, what are the ways in which you can kind of leverage a lot of this technology. But hopefully, if you're either interested or already using one of the products we're talking about today, you can kind of walk away from this call at least seeing some very specific ways in which you can sort of start incorporating some, we can talk about AI all day, or agentic tools, or like streamline processes, but really just ways to give you back your time. So Joel, I might hand it over to you on this one. I think this is talking about some of the general benefits of AI.
Yeah, I think you teed this up really nicely. I think that our businesses and our products are trying to crack this nut in a variety of ways. But I really like the way that you framed it in terms of the impossible equation, or what I'll call the really difficult equation of there simultaneously being a variety of what we call customer results that we want to deliver immigration attorneys. You see some kind of overviews here, but the themes that these get at are, like you said, efficiency and productivity, while at the same time wanting to improve quality and compliance, or in some cases reducing operating costs to improve firm profitability. And of course, client experience is something to consider throughout all of this. So we've put out a variety of kind of AI assisted or AI-backed features over the last year. I believe we're going to give a demo of this in a slide or so. But one that we're really excited about that we actually got to show you guys at the AILA conference in June was our intelligent form intakes package. And if we skip to the next slide, I would love to talk through this. Do we want to give a demo of it first, or?
Yeah, that's up to you guys. I guess, Jenny, if you want to go ahead and dive in on the demo, you can, or you can give it a quick overview.
Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen.
Sure. And while Jenny's pulling it up, just an overview to kind of give some context. Obviously, intakes are the intake process, I'll say, is a major part of the case management cycle. And for that reason, we're constantly thinking about how to up-level that process, where in the last decade or so, you've seen a variety of case management vendors approaching this in different ways. And to be honest, other vendors as well are doing really cool things with this, where you kind of see different questionnaire facilities and such. And of course, within our solution, we have the ability to conduct intake via questionnaires, as well as through the actual USCIS form, or what looks like an identical copy to the USCIS form. And we're able to do this because we have our own electronic forms technology baked within eimmigration that essentially hosts these forms. So what this new intelligent form intakes package feature is, first of all, it's a little bit of a mouthful, but it essentially allows for a given USCIS form or Department of State or Department of Labor form to select that form and automatically get the questionnaires related to that form. And you know what? Why don't I just let Jenny show it? Because I think it's easier to always see these things visually. And then we'll talk more about it after.
Thank you, Joel. I'll walk through how to send the form intakes from the caseworker end and how we can see it from the client end. So this feature completely changes how you collect client information. So instead of selecting questionnaires one by one, trying to figure out what you need in order to fully fill out the form, the intelligent form intakes lets you, it automatically selects all the questionnaires that you need and sends one complete package to your client. So let's take a look at how that works. Right now I'm inside a case and I have a few forms added here. I can select a form or multiple forms and then click on this new button called Send Form Intakes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my recipient. And as I selected Alex Johnson, it automatically selected my preferred language. This is the language that's going to be used when they log in and they see the questionnaires and the forms translated into Spanish. Next, it's going to ask me what role do I want Alex on these forms. I have selected alien. And then finally, I select if I want to send it via client portal or passwordless link. I'm going to select client portal just for the demo. Okay, now let's switch over to what the client views. Right away, I'll see that they have the new form intakes package sitting in their mailbox. I can view all the items that have been automatically selected for the I-130. When I open the package, it would take me from the beginning to the questionnaires where they can start filling out the questionnaires. They will be guided one by one until they finish the whole package. At the top, they can see the status, how many items are in that package. And
sorry, Jenny, I can still only see the send form package screen. Are you sharing what the client would see currently?
I'm sorry, yes.
No worries. I
do that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second. I thought I had selected to share the entire screen. Okay. All right. Now we're good, right?
Nothing. Oh, there it is. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I had
it.
just sent the form intakes that I had one sitting in my inbox. Basically, I can click on this icon and I can see all the items for the package, including the I-130. When I open up the questionnaire, the intake package, the client will see a status at the top. Basically, all of the number of items. I have 7 items in my package, and they can pick and choose which ones they want to work with. But the package will guide them through each questionnaire until they have completed all of them and they finish with the form. And as we can see, it is in the language Spanish, which is what was selected when I sent the package. So they would go through one by one, fill this out. And then when it gets to the form, this is where the magic happens. So all the answers that they have entered in the questionnaires have automatically populated into the forms. Now, even better, the forms themselves are translated so the client can clearly understand every question. Now, if they notice that anything is missing, like these questions weren't asked in the questionnaire, they can fill them out here and then click submit when they're done. Now, as they click submit, that sends the entire intake, so all the questionnaires and the forms, back to the caseworker. Now let's switch back to the caseworker end.
Jenny, what languages are available?
Oh, that's a good question. I can show you. We had like a default of, I think now it's probably 11 or 12 languages. And
13.
13, great. And
growing.
We keep adding as they get requested. So now back to our caseworker end. In my inbox, the form intakes works exactly like our questionnaire. So I can open it, I can review the client's answers, and if something looks off, I can send it back for correction. Now, if everything does look good, I can just accept it, and the forms automatically fill in the client profiles with the same data. And so that means everything's ready to go. You review, you print, you file without typing things twice. And we also have the feature where if the client enters answers in their own language from the form end, you can, with the click of a button, translate it back to English. So that way everything's ready to file to USCIS. And with that, I'll stop sharing my screen so Joe can walk us through some of the key benefits of this feature.
Yes, so it looks like we got a question from Ron ENG, Jenny. The question is, I assume the client must answer the questionnaire in English.
So the questionnaires, most of the questions wouldn't be, it's just very basic, like their names and addresses. But you could translate that back to English. So from the form end, so let's say if they entered, like in Mexico, you can enter your address and it's, instead of street, it's calle. You can translate all that back to English from the form. So they don't have to enter it in English.
So I want to double click on that. And thank you for giving a visual overview of this, Jenny, because there's a lot going on here. So it, like Jenny showed, starts with simply selecting, let's say a USCIS form you want, the I-130, and selecting the client you want and the language that they speak. That's it. And then you can choose if you want to send it to their client portal, or if you have clients who you'd prefer to send a password list link to, that's an option too. You send it to them and they get the form itself plus any relevant questionnaires all in their language. And obviously, you see one of the benefits listed here is removing communication barriers. And as many of you could probably imagine, we see one incredible use of AI today to be within translations, where to give credit to other solutions out there, there are really good case management solutions that also translate questionnaires like we do. But there are zero immigration case management solutions that translate the actual form. And again, this is something that's made possible by our electronic forms technology. Now, we acknowledge that, I'm just going through some of these other benefits. We acknowledge that some attorneys prefer to send, just questionnaires to their clients. And some attorneys want the clients to have the actual form. So this allows for that optionality. We know that some clients like to maybe fill out the questionnaire. That might be an easier interface for them, but then reference a form to see, okay, well, you're asking me for this really specific information. Why is that? Or maybe there's a misunderstanding on what's being asked. So to be able to look at the actual form within the client's language, it significantly improves the client experience. And then, like Jenny explained, when the client fills it out and sends it back, you can bring it back to English for the caseworker to review. So there's obviously, going back to those results that we talked about here, there's obviously an improvement in client experience. There's an expediency to this, right? With just saying, I want this form, and our system will figure out the questionnaires, handle the translation, and send it on all in one package. That kind of hits the productivity piece. And I'd argue that all of this also hits the quality piece in retaining everything together, making sure that there is no confusion because it is in the foreign national's language. We love when we can put out features that benefit all of those different angles. But obviously, always good to get attorney input on this. Greg, we showed you this at
I was amazed when I saw it. I will say, one of the reasons why I really like this is that, sort of most firms, what they will do when they need signatures at the end is they just send the forms for the client for signature. And if the client's language skills aren't, their English skills aren't particularly great, they're just going on faith essentially when they are signing that document. And the consequences are really severe in the immigration system when it comes to mistakes. And mistakes happen sometimes in the intake process, and they happen in the and lawyers and paralegals make mistakes. Unfortunately, it happens, and we all know it happens, and it's because we're human beings. But this is just one more check that gives the client the ability to potentially catch something that they haven't been able to catch before if their English skills were not great. And I really think it's it's something I think when you were saying some lawyers would like it and some lawyers, it's the kind of thing I think that we would actually use our firm mainly from from that quality control perspective of having one more way to head off a potential error that doesn't have to happen.
Yeah. And I think that with all of these tools, one goal is trying to shift time spent on things like formatting documents and kind of performing multiple rounds of quality control. Where I just saw a comment, but I wasn't able to read it. It disappeared really quickly.
Sorry, that's on me. There you go.
It looks like we got a bunch of comments.
Hey, Matt. I know Matt.
Okay, Matt, Ron. Well, let me take a couple questions to make this a little more interactive. And Jenny, maybe we can bring you back into this as well. So Matt Gunn asks, if the foreign national has questions about completing the form, is there in-system help available to them to understand the question?
So the client does have, if you allow them access to send you messages, they could have communication with your staff in case they run into any helps. We do offer videos. If you're talking about anything general with how to use the client portal from their end, we do have videos that they can use.
I will put a plug in for my cookbook because one of the things that Ari Sauer takes responsibility for, and he does a really great job with it, is he makes annotated versions of all the forms that provide, well, annotated, but also sort of question by question for the lawyers, from the lawyer's perspective of what the question is about and what they're getting at. So that resource can be really helpful as far as potentially explaining to the client why the question is being asked on there. So it's it is something that saves the lawyer's time.
Yeah, I think that's a great little feature. Think like help button or a little question mark next to the questionnaire question that just outlines like what this is about or ways to go about answering this one. There's another. Ron had one more question. Maybe we answer this one and move forward.
Sure. So do the answers to the questionnaires get retained in client records so the response can be used in the future to populate forms? The answer to that is a strong yes. That is something that all of our intake facilities support. We think that's a really powerful component of our case management system, the kind of two-way synchronization between when you fill out forms and when you fill out client records, and how you can kind of reuse. Jenny, any other, I know we didn't really cover the best practices, and I know we want to move on to the rest, but is there any quick things you want to mention on best practices before we move forward?
Yeah. So as far as best practices, making sure that your clients have portal access, and if they don't, you can send it via passwordless link. Let the clients know what to expect before sending the package so that they feel confident in filling out the whole package. And lastly, translate the responses back to English before you submit to USCIS.
I should say, I mean, I like the fact that you guys do the passwordless link on there. It sounds like a little thing, but it's a lot of people struggle with portals and things like that, where you always have to have you have to have passwords. And goodness knows, when you file stuff with USCIS online with that, incredibly annoying and difficult password system that they have. So that's it's nice to see that you guys have that option.
Yep, and I think we answered the questions here. Luxon asked, do you provide training? Yes, every new customer actually gets not one, but 2 free training sessions. Some customers actually get 3 if you subscribe to our Plan C plan. And you can, of course, get more training beyond that if you'd like. Let's move forward to our integration.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think this is really interesting what you guys are doing with forms. I agree, Joel, with what you were talking about as it relates to language. And, we've always seen that as a really good use case for generative AI, at least one of the early, I don't know if you would call it a quick win or just a direct application for the technology, being able to translate real time, whether that be documents or text or audio. There's just technology is going to make some of those barriers, or is already making them much easier. So the drafts integration is something we've talked about for a long time. If you guys are on LinkedIn at all, I'm sure you've seen a gajillion social posts about both the integration and some of the new Visalaw.ai drafts capabilities we've launched over the last 6 to 8 months. Eimmigration and Visalaw, we started this conversation, I guess, this has had to have been a year and a half ago, or more, when we kind of started down this path. And while there are other products that are doing something like maybe what Visalaw is doing from a drafting standpoint, and I should step back and kind of go a little bit more high level when I talk about drafts, I really mean, high complexity, writing intensive petition letters, support letters, briefs. We are dipping our toes into RFE responses as well, some of the less standardized type documents that lawyers have to draft, and team members have to draft. So when I say drafting, I most nearly mean petition letters, right? The thing that goes at the top of the petition before you file, in my Alabama slang there. So drafts has been available for, I would say, at least 8 months, generally speaking, like to the public as a standalone product in Visalaw. We can talk about that towards the tail end of some of the other enhancements we've made that are launching legitimately in 2 weeks. But eimmigration represents the first time that this capability has existed within a case management system. I think it's really easy to overshadow. It's like, oh, this is just a really cool PR thing. No, you can actually draft a petition letter using AI within your case management without having to go anywhere else. You can do it all inside of your own platform. So actually, I'm not demoing Visalaw.ai today. I'm demoing eimmigration and how you can use Visalaw.ai inside of eimmigration. So Joel, Jenny, give me some grace. Obviously, this is a little different. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. and we'll get started. So I'm showing, can you guys see this? Thumbs up, looking okay? Great. So I'm showing a dashboard inside of eimmigration. Looks really nice, by the way. I'll click into cases, and I'm actually going to do and show you an example of how you would go about completing an EB1C petition letter. So again, this is going to be relatively fast just for the sake of time. If you are interested in learning more after the call or want to understand, maybe use one or the other, or maybe you even use both products and you're trying to figure out how to bring them together, really straightforward. Our team would be happy to help you with that. I'm looking right now at an existing case, which I've created. So, preceding step to all this would be actually creating the case in your case management system. I've given it the very low number of 8 because we don't have very many cases at this fake firm. We need some more business, I guess. This case is about, again, EB1C manager named Hiroshi Tanaka, and I have already uploaded, again, another kind of pre-step to all this. I've uploaded all the documents already. So if I go into my documents tab, you can see, we have, again, at least a few relevant documents that I'm going to use as part of the drafting process. So I just wanted to flag all of that before I actually go into how do you use Visalaw.ai inside of eimmigration. It's actually really straightforward. I'm going to go down to the last step down here. It's called document assembly. And then once I'm in this document assembly stage or area, I've already created a demo, kind of, I guess you would call it a assembly packet. I don't know what you guys refer to this internally. Maybe it's packet or, yeah, maybe you guys have a term for this. I really don't know. So I'm just going to click new. I'm just going to call this EB1C2. Very original again. So basically it automatically creates the form. This is like your forms, your documents, everything that you're going to use to assemble, because the one nice thing that eimmigration has built in is packet assembly. We have this capability also in our new draft solution, but again, because it's already in your case management system, you don't have to worry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these documents that are part of this account or part of this case. I'm just going to bring them over. Just click this little arrow. And then truly, actually, you know what? There are 2 pages here. I was literally told that was something I needed to do. So if FYI, if you're using this right now, all you have to do is just go show all. So you capture all the documents at one time. Something we can definitely streamline later. Okay, so I'm going to click Visalaw.ai draft. And then what you're seeing is essentially a built-in interface that is identical, or at least close to identical to what you would see in Visalaw.ai when you were drafting a document. So what did you just skip? You just skipped the longest part of using AI to draft, which is giving the AI all of your documents to analyze. So this process is probably 2 or 3 times faster than using our product natively right now, just because you don't have to manually upload all the files. So that's step 1. So you can see the list of all the documents. I'll just continue on. And then, of course, it's still going to ask you to select the process type. We haven't, I guess, made this part intelligent enough to sort of it really could automatically know, okay, this is an EB1C case. Great, let's move on. I'm just going to say, because I did this a little while ago, I'm just going to do this again. That can't be right. It's not the 25th. What am I doing? Okay. We don't have to go into detail on templates. I know there's going to be some pausing because I'm going in between screens here. So basically, I'm going to click default template because our team can help you assign. John, I'm getting some New York City noise. Sorry, I'm going to call it out. So on template, we just have a default template here. Our team builds these out. What a template is just an example petition letter. So you don't have to worry about doing all this initially. Our support team, in fact, right now, if you subscribe to our software, our support team will do all of this work for you. So you just give us an example EB1C or several EB1Cs, however you want to, maybe there are different flavors or different varieties, and our support team can help you create those templates. So maybe you already had a really good or very similar example that you wanted the AI to use as part of its, it uses it as what we call context. So it's just basically going to try to write like you write. So essentially right now, some of this is the one piece that we're filling in right now. This is going to be updated very soon. It should be able to autofill some of this data. Right now it can't. So this would be the one screen under additional details that you have to manually enter. So I'm just going to say Mr. Roshi Tanaka. I'm just going to say global tech. And then I'm going to call this, if I can spell right, operations officer. And then I'm just going to say Jane Doe is the attorney. Okay. Great. And so what we've just done is we have just drafted a petition letter. That's how long it took. Well, I say that, and then of course on the live demo, I did like bells on me. Okay, so project name can only contain. So I did the classic. I put in a dot in the project name. That was a rookie mistake.
You
Sorry,
still got
everybody.
a dot.
Get that dot.
Did it
out.
say dot or was it? Was it dot or was it? So
That's
technology
good
is
I
hard.
don't, we can add some more clarification on that earlier screen to help guide users. That's a good catch.
I think I just proved to myself things that we can. Yeah, I'm giving myself feedback to improve the product right now. So you guys don't have to put a piece of feedback in saying you should make that where you can add a dot in the project name. Okay, so Visalaw.ai was successfully initiated. So I can click out of this, and essentially if you want to check, the document will eventually appear under your documents. So if I click documents, it will show up here in just a few minutes. But if, for whatever reason, you're trying to check the status of something and you're like, why is this document not appearing? You'll actually go over to the side nav. And again, this is just a live demo. This is not like, you don't have to remember how to do all of this. We have documentation and support and training. There's this job request option under tools. And if you click that, you can actually see. So this was actually my failed one because I had the wrong, and it actually told me why it failed. So I actually think we updated the API so that it accepts dots, but maybe it's it was the parentheses. Maybe I'll go back and confirm on that and put in our documentation. Sorry, but yeah. So essentially, what happens is it will initiate the project, and you can just track the status here. It'll take. It'll take a few minutes to get from initiated to what I did a little while ago, which was like completed. So I ran this before the call, just again to get a little bit more familiar with things. So yeah, it's running in the background. Give it a few minutes and it should be in your documents folder, and it will essentially be a first draft of a petition letter. Now, and I might stop there in case there are like questions around everything I've just done. I'm going to pull up just like an example that I did earlier, and maybe
Some question, Josh, about accuracy.
Okay, yeah. So we can definitely talk about some of this. I would say drafts is a little bit more subjective than forms, right? So like, it's really not a question, like when you're looking at a form and you're asking if it's been filled out correctly, most of the time there's just one or a handful of right ways to fill out a form. With drafting, you could look at the same EB1C and your firm may be like, this is the best support letter or petition letter that I've ever seen in my life. Or you could be like, this does not meet our standards. I would say most of the middle, like finding the middle ground there is really about two things. It's about the data that you provide to the system. So like the more information you give the AI, the better the outputs will be. The second one is the templates. So if you don't like the templates that our team has built out for an EB1C, you're like, well, it didn't include a specific section or paragraph that we really like to to include, then upload your example and the AI will consider all that as part of the outputs. And essentially, I guess what I would say is like, I'll let you guys, each individual firm, like kind of decide for yourselves. Like if you think that what the AI is generating is not satisfactory, then, you know, again,
I mean, I think,
yeah.
Josh, there's sort of two aspects to that. There's one about, you know, the quality of the writing and whether it's sort of like it's a good petition letter and all that. And then there's the question about like hallucinations and did it make up anything? And I think that might be what the question was asking about.
Okay.
But I mean, and it might be, you know, that one of the things that our technologists have worked on is, you know, there are prompts that are behind the scenes that are happening that have a lot of boilerplate in it that are designed to minimize that. Part of it is that you know, limiting where the writing can actually come from, and it's not just randomly going out on the internet and pulling things that ChatGPT has. Part of it's the model that's sitting in the background. So we have the latest GPT model that it does a much better job in terms of being of accuracy than any previous model that OpenAI has ever had. You know, but all of that's to say that anybody who ever says that you can use the AI unsupervised and you're not, and you don't need to verify and vet the documents, you know, I think is not. First of all, that you still have to be the lawyer at the end, and you have to do that review. But it's sort of the way I would say is, you know, think about it the way. If you gave it to an outside writer, if you gave it to a paralegal or a junior associate, and you gave them all the materials to draft, and they came back with that first draft, you're going to read that document pretty closely, and you're going to be looking at it, particularly if it's somebody that may be super smart as a first-year associate, but just doesn't have a lot of experience. You're going to be reviewing things pretty closely, and that's a good general rule for how you use AI in your practices. It can save you a tremendous amount of time, and it does a good job almost all the time, but you still have to supervise it, and you still have to, you know, and you still have to make sure that it's accurately reflecting the documents that it's relying on. But I think I think these tools work well, and I think that's the reason why so many people are using them now.
Yeah, and can I call it? Can you guys see this Word file?
Not yet.
Oh, you're not seeing Word. Okay, sorry, something's wrong with my screen share. Maybe I'm seeing an infinite loop. Okay. Classic. Okay, let me see if I can get back to. Basically, I just wanted to show the Word file that was generated as an output, but I have it pulled up in Word, and maybe there's just something with the screen sharing that's not there. The one other thing I wanted to call out, if hopefully I can get you guys just a view of the document itself. Yeah, so I would say, just as another specific point, it does generate a Word document, so it is editable. And then I know that eimmigration also has this Office 365 plugin. Yeah, why did I not just do that? That's simple. I'm learning about eimmigration as I go. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And then basically what I was just pointing out is there's this open in Office 365. This is actually the document that was just generated by the system. So if you just wanted like real time, so yeah, so this was generated while we were talking. So I'm going to click this, share this tab instead. Again, I think we had maybe 30 documents that were included as part of this, again, EB1C. I want to say it's like 5 or 6 pages. Everything's tabbed or exhibited, or all the documents are, you know, will appear as exhibits. If there's any information that's not included, again, back to Greg's point about hallucination, the system will just put placeholders. Like, it will not make up, it will not generate salary information. It will not generate information about the company if there's anything that was not included in the documents you provided. So again, just kind of getting back to like what makes a quality output, I would say a lot of it is just how much information can you give it, or do you give it when you have the data, or when you have this AI kind of working in the system. The last thing I wanted to mention, and then we can move on, is our new drafts product has a built-in editor. And what I mean by this is, like, when you're done with the draft, it actually allows you to use AI to redraft, not the whole document, but like specific sections. right? So again, I imagine what will likely happen here in the Serenade API or in the eimmigration API is that you'll see the output, and maybe there, just like it says, go to Office 365, there will just be a link that can go to Visalaw that will allow you to basically, again, it will be a word editor that you can open in platform and essentially have AI redraft different sections, right? So if you said, I'm missing a paragraph, or I want to retry this paragraph because it missed something important, you can have the AI do that. And actually, I think, Ian just shared a video that's like 4 to 5 minutes in the chat that kind of outlines a lot of the new features that we have in our new version of drafts that that we released kind of like after we launched this integration. It can still take advantage of all those same features. It just might be that for the last editing, you'll just kind of, you can cross over into the Visalaw.ai platform if needed. But again, maybe you see the outputs and you guys have like a different internal flow at your firm. Maybe your paralegals are doing all their editing in like Adobe Acrobat, or again, every firm's different, right? So you all like have different processes for how you kind of collaborate and review petitions before they go out. But just as another option, we do now offer inline AI redrafting and collaboration. So you can like go and, you can share, you can send the petition letter with another team member, right? So maybe your lead paralegal or your legal writer wrote the actual letter, and then you want it to be sent to an associate or be sent to a partner, and then it be reviewed further from there. So like all of this can be baked into your account, like these automated kind of like checks and workflows. And so anyway, I resign my time on the demo. Yeah. So again, benefits, best practices. Obviously, the goal is efficiency, right? You go from, hopefully whatever it took before with research or finding, getting all the documents together and then having your team member or whoever draft the documents. And I don't see this as a replacement tool, by the way. I don't think anyone should view this as that. You should empower the people who are doing all of these letters today. You should give them this tool. And so that way they can just do more, right? Like, because if you don't know how the letters should be, it's like the AI is not really going to help. Like, it could draft something if you're not familiar with the subject, but it's going to be really, really powerful if you know exactly what you want, and you can use the AI to just get to that point faster, right? So like your teams who are, again, I'm talking about teams like we have like a gajillion people that are doing this. Now you have an AI team, I guess, that can do some of this. But yeah, I would just empower your people, whoever that is. If it's you as the partner, if it's you as the attorney, if it's support staff, hopefully this means they can do 2, 3, 5x, case volume or something, and still maintain that same quality, right? Like what we're trying to say is Visalaw.ai, our first value as a company is accuracy first, right? Like if it's not accurate, if it's not a good output, then like what are we talking about, right? Like we have to succeed at that point. Otherwise, again, it's just bells and whistles. But again, hopefully every firm gets a chance to try this out and give us your feedback. That's what we want more than anything. It's just your feedback. I'm not even talking about any of the points on the slide. I apologize, but we'll have all this later. You can look at it. So yeah, just to recap, take something that took really long and make it less long, and hopefully significantly less, with the same overall process, the same overall workflow. I know we're kind of getting close to time. Maybe we just cut it to question and answer, I guess, if there are any kind of major questions.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to hit them one by one in the comment section, but I want to make sure I don't miss any. So maybe I can read out the ones that I don't think I've got yet. Oh, whoever did that, that's helpful. So Bennett, I believe I answered this one, but so everyone else can hear it. Yes. Wait, if we fill out the employer, maybe. Yeah. So, did I answer the wrong question, Bennett? Yeah, no, I did answer that. So yes, you can fill out a client profile yourself, and that will automatically flow through to your forms, or can flow through to create your drafts with Visalaw.ai. You don't need to have the client do it themselves. This would be a good question for you, Jenny. Does the 365 integration allow you to save a copy to SharePoint?
You can, but you would have to download it. So you could download the document in Word.
And then save. So it's 2 steps.
Can the software draft legal briefs for immigration court for the Visalaw team?
Yeah, I was just answering it in the chat. Yeah, I would say we do. It's both and, right? Like, yes, we have a beta process. We have beta versions of asylum. I would say asylum and like 1 or 2 other waiver process types. But we have expanded our team, our humanitarian team. So we have we have a lawyer and like a paralegal who have focused on court issues in the past, and they're basically going to help us build out more processes in that area. But again, hopefully, whenever we do, happy to reach out and give you free access to just try it and pick this feedback up.
Can I mention just one thing about that might be useful for that question also? If there's shorter form types of documents that are being drafted, within our legal research aspect of the product, we do actually, for example, have the AILA Federal Litigation Toolbox as one of our library items. And so sometimes people, for certain kinds of drafting that are more basic, they'll do it within legal research. They'll research what they want, but they can specifically do it there. And the other thing you can do is you can take any AILA book and copy it into your personal library that if it's in there, including that forms book, and then you can use that to help you do some of the drafting before, eventually we'll have, when it makes it to draft, it's usually for much more complex, longer form documents that are, usually multi-step, but that might be something that's helpful for some people. And that's also the same for the cookbook, where, any chapter in there can be potentially posted into your personal library. Use that to help you with light drafting.
I see a couple questions on costs, so I can speak to both of them at once. So first of all, the question on the AI component being added to eimmigration subscription. So this Visalaw.ai integration will be offered for free to all eimmigration customers. That said, you will need a subscription with Visalaw.ai separately. But we have a promotion where if you sign up with us and you're coming from Visalaw.ai, we will give you 2 months free with an annual subscription, exclusive to this group here. And anything that you want to mention on the Visalaw side regarding, oh, there it is actually.
What was it? There it is. Oh yeah, the trial. I'm also putting something in the chat for everybody on pricing, just like really brief. And it's the pricing is available on the website too. We just simplified our model, so it's just a flat, like a monthly cost for it. Now it's 10 petition letters a month. And again, maybe if you're not doing that many like complex, like you don't need this AI to help you. And sorry, I misspoke. It's $480, not $499. I don't know if I can edit this comment. Of course, I should have just put the link and not corrected myself. So it's actually less than I thought it was. So and again, there are additional discounts.
Next to a hospital.
Yeah, you are. Again, it's the New York City sound.
Sorry, it's constant. It's constant.
For you, it's sort of like you probably have like it's just like nothing. You don't even notice it.
Honestly, it takes
Memphis. You don't even hear it anymore.
Yeah. it takes you guys pointing it out because I've kind of just become desensitized to it. That's just subtle background noise now, sirens. Anyways, I know we're at the hour. I wanted to thank everyone for joining. Wanted to thank the Visalaw team, Jenny, Trinity, I'll continue to answer comments, but if people have to run, just wanted to send out that quick thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I'm going to jump. I have my next thing.